Okay, so we're going to continue with quadratic story problems. Now, I'm going to tell you that I started this and this first slide didn't work because this number is wrong. So we're going to change this number to 143. Now it works. Okay, so remember with integers, it starts with an odd, which is 1, and then it goes even, then it goes odd, then it goes even, and it continues on that pattern forever and ever and ever. So if I want two consecutive, which remembers two odd next to each other, well, next to each other, there's an even in between. So x is going to be your first odd, but then to get to the next one, we have to add 2. Okay, this is right out of first semester, guys. Odds and evens are x and x plus 2. Consecutive are just x and x plus 1. Product means I'm going to multiply the two numbers, and the product is, that's my equals, 143. I'm going to distribute x squared, 2x, equals 143. I'm going to subtract the 143 so I can bring it over here. So I have x squared plus 2x minus 143 equals 0. Now I do not know my factors of 143, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the quadratic formula, which means I'm going to go b squared minus 4ac. b is 2 squared minus 4, a is 1, c is negative 143. So I have 4 minus 4 times negative 143. You know I'm going to my calculator here because I don't know what that is. It's a big number. 4 plus 572 is 576. So x is going to equal negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 576 all over 2 times 1. So I'm pretty sure that 576 has to have a square root because these numbers have to be nice, pretty numbers, and it is. It's 24. So negative 2 plus or minus 24 all over 2. So x could be negative 2 plus 24 over 2, which is 22 over 2, which is 11, which would then make x plus 2, 13. So now my numbers here would be 11 and 13. Those are two odd consecutive integers. Or x could equal negative 2 minus 24 over 2, negative 26 over 2, which is negative 13, which would make x plus 2, negative 13 plus 2, which is negative 11. So remember, we said unless they tell me they have to be positive or negative, we're going to get two answers here. So 11 and 13 and negative 11 and 13. All right, the length of a rectangle, so here's my length, here's my width. It says the length is 6 inches more than the width. So whatever the width is, I'm going to add 6 inches. So when I do my area is length times width. 91 is going to equal the length, which is w plus 6 times w. I'm going to distribute over here. W squared plus 6w. I'm going to subtract 91 so I can move it over to this side. W squared plus 6w minus 91 equals 0. And I'm going to go ahead and do the quadratic formula. When I'm working with big numbers, I like to do the quadratic formula. So this is 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 91. So 36 minus 4 times negative 91. And 4 times 91, we all know, is 364. So 36 plus 364 is 400. So w is going to equal negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 400 all over 2 times 1. So that's negative 6 plus or minus 20 all over 2. Okay, I know in story problems, remember that one that didn't work and I said ask your teacher what they want you to do? I know in story problems they should always come out to be nice integers. This year, next year things might change. So that's why I always go to the quadratic formula. All right, so now I have an option. W could be negative 6 plus 20 over 2, 14 over 2, which is 7. If that's true, the width is 7, the length is 7 plus 6, which would be 13. Or w could equal negative 6 minus 20 over 2. Negative 26 over 2 is negative 13, and that can't be. Remember, we've said that when you're measuring, it has to be a positive number. All right, next question. Both sides of a square are increased by 2. So remember, that means we start with x, and increasing by 2 means each side is 2 bigger. So if this was 10, this would be 12. But we don't know those numbers. I'm just making those up. Okay? Area, length times width. It says the new area is 121, and that is x plus 2 times x plus 2. So I'm going to leave the 121 over here. I'm going to FOIL x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4. I'm going to combine like terms, x squared plus 4x plus 4, and then I'm going to subtract the 121. So I have x squared plus 4x, I don't trust myself, it's early morning, minus 117. I'm going to go do the quadratic formula again. So b squared minus 4ac. b is 4 squared minus 4, a is 1, c is negative 117. So I have 16 minus 4 times negative 1, whoops, wrote that wrong, 117. So that's 16 plus 468, which is 484. Okay? So that means x is the opposite of b, negative 4, plus or minus the square root of the discriminant, 484, all over 2 times a, which is 1. The square root of 484 is 22. Now, if I didn't have a calculator, I would hedge that, but oh, thank goodness I have a calculator. So now, from there, I'm going to say x could be negative 4 plus 22 over 2, which is 18 over 2, which is 9. So that means x would be 9, and x would be 9. So the length of the original square could be 9. What's my other option? X could be negative 4 minus 22 over 2, which is negative 26 over 2, negative 13. Again, doesn't give me an option. I can't have a measurement of negative 13. One more slide. I bet it's a picture frame. Okay, so this is the famous picture frame around a picture. So we have got to change this problem because it doesn't work. We're going to change this to 16 by 12, and we're going to change our area to 285, okay? It's just going to have to work. So what that means is from here to here is 16. This is x, because it's uniform width, so it's 2x plus 16. From here to here, it is 12. This is x, so it's 2x plus 12. Remember, we talked about that. Uniform width means all the way around measures the exact same. So the area is length times width, so 285 is equal to 2x plus 16 times 2x plus 12. So 285 equals, we're going to FOIL over here, 4x squared plus 24x plus 32x plus, what is 16 times 12? I think it's 192. Yep, 192. We're going to combine like terms, so 285 equals 4x squared plus 24 plus 32 is 56x plus 192. We're going to subtract 285, because remember when you do the quadratic formula, you got to have it equal to 0. So 4x squared plus 56x, let's see what 192 minus 285 is, minus 93. We are going to do the quadratic formula, so I need b squared minus 4ac. So that's 56 squared minus 4 times negative 93. So 56 squared is 3,136. 4 times 4 is 16. And we still need to multiply times negative 93. So I get 3,136 plus 1,488, which is 4,624. So we go, x equals negative 56 plus or minus the square root of 4,624 all over 2 times 4. The square root of 4,624 is 68, and 2 times 4 is 8. So if we do negative 56 plus 68 all over 8, we have 12 over 8, which if we divide 12 by 8, we get 1.5. If we do the subtraction, negative 56 minus 68 over 8, we get negative 124 over 8, and that comes out to negative 15.5. It's negative, so that's not going to work. So the width of the frame is 1.5 inches.